What's up, and welcome back to Opposites Attract Podcast. This is Sonja Ramirez, your girl, and I'm sitting next to
Miguel Ramirez.
What's up, everybody? How is your day?
How was your week?
How is your life?
Going.
Good job.
Whatever. What's happening,
always
babe?
mess with you.
I know.
It's fun.
What's happening, babe?
What's up, yo?
Another week has gone by.
Yep. Oh my God, we're like, I can't believe that Christmas.
I can't believe another week has gone by.
3 weeks. It's just crazy. I mean, the other week you kept saying Halloween. Like
I know. Last week.
Yeah, on the podcast.
Crazy.
You know, it's like, yeah, it's almost Christmas.
Yeah.
And it's amazing here in our neighborhood. I mean, I finally got what I've always wanted, was a second Christmas tree. So our house is very festive. It smells good.
That's how you know you made it?
Sounds
when
good.
You got 2 Christmas trees?
You're stupid.
That's how you know you made it.
It sounds good. You walk in the house, you have holiday music playing, and it smells like Christmas in the air, and you have these beautiful Christmas tree up and all my ornaments that are hanging on the ceiling. Like, serious.
Yeah, you've had fun with that.
And then you walk outside, and it's like Winter Wonderland.
Yeah.
Right? We have people from all over coming over.
Everybody's driving through the neighborhood.
Yes. And for those of you that don't know, but we went all out this year, and we streamed lights from one house to the other across the street, all the way down the
zigzag
block.
Back and forth down the block.
Yes.
So it's like a canopy of lights.
And every house is like decked out. Yeah. I got me 2 new blow-up dolls. Woo woo!
That's what I call them.
Right, and not those blow-up dolls, but
not the fun ones, the ones you put outside.
Shut up. I got me a nutcracker. I love those nutcrackers. I think that's going to be my theme.
I think that's the name of one of those other blow-up dolls. The nutcracker.
That's a good one.
Right?
Right.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? Maybe I'll buy you one.
What? A blow-up doll?
Nutcracker.
for
yeah.
Christmas?
So when you leave out of town.
Oh, snap.
And then you can take a video for me. No.
What? Wait. What the hell's going on here?
The blow-up doll.
Oh, okay.
The nutcracker.
All right. We'll be trying some new
stuff.
stuff.
You weren't going there? That's how you keep your marriage hot.
Hold up. I don't know. It's just fucked up because I'm always thinking like nutcrackers are usually dudes.
Well, like I'm thinking of, a female blow-up doll that cracks your nuts. No.
All right. I'm down.
In a good way. No.
Hey, you know how they have all kinds of different nutcrackers? They can have like the female dirty nutcrackers.
Well, that's what I was thinking. Yeah. Were you not there? You weren't there yet when I was talking to you?
I'm saying like the ones that they put out for Christmas.
Anyways,
like
we went from talking about Christmas decorations
to blow-up dolls to stripper nutcrackers.
That's how we do it here in Opposites Attract Podcast. I hope you all are ready. No. So, hey, our daughter had her first game.
Yeah.
And
so cool.
She did so well. I'm so proud of her.
Yeah.
There were some things that we had to talk to her about, some things that we had to work out.
Yeah.
And, because she's been on a team before. She's played soccer. I mean, she's been in sports since she was young.
Yes.
But it's different.
This is a different kind of sports now.
Yes, it's different. And you are the expert, I think, when it comes to that, because you played football. Like, you're very much involved in sports, right?
I played basketball too.
And I
was
in volleyball, but not very long. I was in choir, but it's just it's different.
Yeah.
So she came back during a practice and acting all high and mighty.
Yeah. Yep.
Right.
She was talking about. Well, she has her friend that's helping her.
Exactly.
Right.
And we mentioned that on the last podcast. And her friend has been playing since she was very young, and she's 2 years older. And she's a tough cookie, you know, like she's not afraid to get dirty.
Yeah.
And she told Audrey, she's like, hey, if you want to play, you need to play. You need to play the game. And one day they were practicing, and Audrey, I was like, oh my God, I just bought her cleats, brand new cleats, and they came back full of mud.
Really?
Babe,
really?
I swear, yes.
Babe, those are the one pair of shoes that you cannot get mad if they get freaking filthy.
She was practicing at the park. It doesn't matter. Anyways, and I just bought her softball, that's going to get
filthy too.
Anyways, mud. And I'm like, Audrey, what the heck? And she's like, Mom. She's like, her friend, I don't want to throw in, her friend next door said that I'm going to have to get dirty and that mud and dirt is good, she said. And so, because she came back with different clothes on.
Yeah.
She
took a change of clothes.
Yeah. And so she told her, she's like, hey, if you want to be good, you have to be willing to get dirty. Like you have to be willing, to do the shit. And so she was showing her how to slide.
Yeah.
And so that's why she was all full of.
The difference is in baseball, you're going to slide in the dirt and you're going to get dirty because, you got the dirt there. But it was across the street in the park in the grass.
No, baby.
With the sprinklers. Or the sprinklers had just went on. So it was wet. So that's not how they do it in baseball. So I think they might have maybe a little bit pulled one over on you. But it was easier for them to
they
practice
must have been where there
there
was mud. Because she was full of mud.
That's what I'm saying. Is in real baseball, you're not sliding in mud. You're sliding in the dirt.
Yes.
Because you're running bases.
Yeah. Well, whatever happened.
Yeah.
Our ghost is being active right now. No.
We got a ghost in the studio knocking over.
So Adriana, because
bags.
she's been practicing outside of her practice, because she practiced five days out of the week.
Yeah.
I mean, 5 every day. And so she was continuing practice when she got home. So her head kind of blew up.
Well, she's been doing good, right?
Yeah, she was doing good. Well, I mean, this was her first game, but I'm saying like practicing and stuff. She was very focused, very motivated.
But what I'm saying is that she's also one of the better players on the team.
Well, yes. And the thing of it is that there's some girls on there that, they're not, they're not willing to get dirty because, at her age.
This might be their first time playing sports like this.
Yeah, at her age, and this is Audrey's first time playing.
But Audrey
softball.
She has done things that she's not comfortable. Like jiu-jitsu is not comfortable for her.
Oh, trust me.
So I'm sure playing softball when she does jiu-jitsu is probably not that big. It's not that far out of her. It might be uncomfortable, but not as uncomfortable as doing jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
So
she would come home from practice and she would tell us how, like she was a bit frustrated, talking about how the other girls didn't want to get dirty. They don't want to do this and they're too busy, fixing
doing
their hair and checking themselves. And she's like, they're all so, like girly. And I'm like, she just kind of wasn't all positive.
Yeah. There was certain things. And, I was just telling her like when you're part of a team, especially when you're one of the better players on the team and you want to be one of the leaders of the team, the way that you motivate your team is by you do the absolute best that you can. Mm-hmm. I mean, you put it all out there and the team will see it. Mm-hmm. And you don't even have to talk a lot because even when I was on a team, people that played football with me or that have been on teams with me, like they know I don't really talk much. Even like it could be a great football game and I could lay somebody out and I get excited for a little bit, but it's not like I'm going to fucking go nuts. Mm-hmm. I don't do that. It's just I play. But when there's times that there's a way to motivate the team. It's not showing them what they did wrong. It's helping them to get better. It's encouraging them and, pointing out the things that they're doing right.
Yes. Yes. And that's part of leadership.
Yeah.
Right. And I think that's a lot of the concepts that we talked to her about. Well, you from experience, me, I was talking about like leadership.
Yeah.
Like being the one to help, being the one there to guide, to be the example, but not to make them feel as if you are, above them or that you're better than them. It's like include them.
And help them. Show them how.
Yes.
Like, this is how I do this.
Yes.
If you know how to do it better.
And that goes for everything. Like if you are, in a leadership position, whether you're a manager or a lead, whatever it is, if you're, you own a business and you are the owner and people, you get that all the time. Like, how do I motivate my employees to do the work? And it's not as difficult as you think. It's just stepping up and leading by example and coaching and pouring. It's investing into, into your employees or whoever it may be. What are you going to read?
Nothing. Oh, you're in the middle of something. Finish your thought.
But it's not, and it took me a bit to realize that, because in Legal Shield, that's where my leadership came from. That's when I decided, well, if I expect them to do that, I need to do it first.
Yeah.
I can't tell them to do something if I'm not willing to do something.
Yep.
And it's who's staying late, I'm staying late.
Yeah.
And once they see, oh, wow, okay, well, she's staying late, you know what? I'm going to stay with her.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
It's grinding it out.
I told the story on here, and for those of you that have been listening for a while, you guys have heard this story before, but when I was in the military in my tech school, and I had been appointed as the leader of my floor, right? And every floor has a few leaders, and then there's like the one, the lead, whatever, and then you have we got a cat in the studio that snuck in that is normally locked up.
I know.
And if it jumps, I might have to punch her if she comes over towards this mixer.
You better not.
Hey, nothing stops this show.
Damn it.
Hey,
that's your kitty cat.
You guys out there, I got your back. All right. That she will not mess up the show. Anyway, so I got appointed this. You guys should watch this on Facebook, YouTube, wherever you can watch it. But anyway, so I got appointed this floor. And the first night, actually, my friend that we were hanging out with in a few weeks back, we had talked about it. And he was my roommate then. Mm-hmm. And I had talked to him about when we first got appointed that floor, the first thing that we did was go to we had these bathrooms that had these giant showers. It had like 10 shower
I remember
heads.
this.
It had 10 stalls.
Yes,
and we started with one and just started cleaning. And then there it is. You can see the cat in the background sitting. Anyway, so we just started cleaning the bathrooms because the people that were on the floors every morning, we would have to clean the bathrooms.
Right.
And that's the shittiest job that there is to do. Mm-hmm. People would vacuum and do other shit. So we were like, you know what? If we expect these, our people to keep this stuff clean, then we should be willing to do the same thing. So the first night we were like, let's clean all 4 of them. So that the next morning we could just tell them like, hey, everything's all done. Mm-hmm. You guys can take it easy this morning, but with your help, we can just kind of keep it that way.
Yes.
And that's exactly what we said, and it was it was cool. And then from then on, like, it's just a different approach to leadership because we were good with the people on our floor. It wasn't like we were up here.
Right.
It was we're just one of you guys. Like we just have something that we got to get done together. That's it.
Right, together. Because, it's without them, it's not possible.
Yeah.
Right.
And there was something like we were just talking about right before the podcast started. We were talking about like, what are we going to talk about? Right. Mm-hmm. And I was looking something up and
what is this?
Marriage
is this
tip.
The same?
No, it has to do with but it has to do with what we're talking about right now.
Okay.
And it's the way you start discussions. Like if you're on a team and your friend misses a tackle, when you go up to him like, oh, you fucked that one up, didn't you? Mm-hmm. Oh, or you got ran over because you were too high and you didn't get down low and tackle low. Oh, so the dude just trucked you. That's not the way that you get your teammate to be better. Mm-hmm. And if you have a spouse, like starting, if there's an issue, the way that you bring it up, hey, what the hell were you thinking when you were this and that? That's already gonna go wrong right from the beginning. Mm-hmm. Right from the beginning. So you have to be careful, like how you address situations.
Right. So when we were, talking to Audrey, we were talking to her about the situation. And at first she got a little, but she was listening. She was listening because when I picked her up yesterday from practice, her friend was with her.
Yeah.
And her friend, I'm like, hey, how was practice? And her friend started laughing and she's like, that they were using Adriana as an example and that, Adriana was teaching and showing. But what was so great is that, and Audrey didn't even recognize this. Like she had no idea what else she was teaching her team.
Yeah.
But she was acting like a goofball, like after, she was teaching and showing them. she was acting like a goofball, right? And when I looked at her, she was all full of dirt as if she was doing the worm on the floor.
Yeah.
Right? But Adriana is goofy, and at times she doesn't take herself too serious. Like if she makes a mistake or she does something embarrassing, she will laugh at herself.
Yeah.
And so when her friend was sharing me what was happening, and she had the entire team just cracking up, it gave the other girls permission to
be
not
themselves.
Take themselves so serious.
Yeah.
You know, it's like hustle and you have to hustle, right? Like when it's time to work, it's time to work. But when you make a mistake, you know, and you do something, whatever it may be, it's okay. You're going to get another chance. And I see her blossoming with her peers. But she is being that example, not only on the softball field.
Mm-hmm.
She's being that example in class.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah.
No, there's those things are super important. Like you said, like her teaching them to be themselves, but also understanding there's time, like, hey, we got to stop messing around because coach is talking. Mm-hmm. You know, like you can't just, because if you're one of the good players and you have that influence, that's being the leader.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And if your coach is talking and you're the one that's talking back and you're one of the best players,
yes,
that's bad for the whole team.
You know what? And I want to give some parents some hope out there. Okay. Because I know that a lot of you it's very challenging when it comes to your kids and homework.
Yeah.
Right? Like it's a challenge. And we thought, like, I always thought that maybe it was just our kids. But then the more I started talking to other parents, I realized that we weren't alone, because as a parent, you start to feel like a failure, right? You start to feel like, what am I not doing?
Yeah.
You know, what am I not doing? And you start to look within, and that's okay. That's the first, you want to look within.
Yeah.
Right? You want to. It's okay. But it's like you have to go beyond that.
And then you look at them like they're the problem.
No, you go beyond that.
Sorry.
Because they're kids.
Yeah.
And you have to realize that these poor little kids have been in school for 7 hours? And then they still come home and they have homework. So they're going to be frustrated. They're going to be impatient. Right?
Yeah.
And I remember very clearly having challenges with Audrey.
Yeah, me too.
As a little girl. I tell you, it didn't change until she was 11 years old. Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And something, I can't even tell you what.
It's when it clicks.
Yeah.
It's one of those things when it clicks.
It was like night and day.
Have you ever had that? Do you have any examples of when something, it was just like when something clicked in that moment? You're like,
yes,
that's it. From now on, I know this.
It was stacking dishes in the dishwasher.
Really?
Remember that day?
You're like, oh shit.
Oh, that's why. Anyways,
that's why
let's get back to our
washed.
daughter, because we're just gonna go somewhere else.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying, yeah.
Yeah, but that's the first thing that came to my mind. I'm sure there's many more, because I've been working on myself forever, and there's a lot of shit. I was so disorganized.
You know what's funny?
But let's not go there. We're gonna go somewhere else right now. So let's stay here. Let's stay right here, buddy. Right here.
Go ahead.
So, man, yesterday, Audrey and I spent quality time together, and you and Joey were spending time together. Do you always watch me because I talk with my hands a lot, right?
Yeah, it's good.
Anyways, so
that's why you guys should watch the podcast. Hey, you can't be doing that.
No, if they're not watching it, they can't see me. No.
All right.
Anyway, so so we were spending time together, and we were making bracelets, and she was just talking away. Moms, dads, I'm telling you, man, this is the key. This is the key. Just sit with them, draw with them, paint with them, whatever it is, just sit with them and they will start talking to you. Yeah. And so that's what I did. And she was just opening up about all kinds of stuff that's happening in school and this and this and that. And she was talking to me about her grades and then about her Spanish and how, you know, she got a B on her test, but she's not worried about it because she's going to bring it up to an A because she's going to get all A's. And she is just striving right now. I'm going to make myself cry. But man, I'm just watching her and taking all of this in, right? I'm just taking it in, and I'm thinking, I'm looking at her and I'm like, oh my gosh, like we have such a beautiful, amazing, talented young lady. Like even though she's going through some things, you know what I'm saying? Like all preteens do, like all of us, every one of us went through. We are doing good. We're doing good with her.
Yeah, she's doing good.
And so she was sharing all of this with me, but it was so good to hear her say, like, I didn't have to say anything to her. Like I received an email about some work that she did not turn in. And she's like, Mom, she's like for reals. It was like off the shoulder. She's like, Mom, I turned all that in. Yeah. She's like, all that is turned in. Yeah. Like she's just on top of her game, you know, and she's like telling me, you know, how she has to be organized, you know, with her backpack and her locker and everything has to be in place. And I'm thinking to myself, girl, your room looks like a tornado. Like how in the world? And I asked her that and she's like, I don't know, Mom. She's like, I don't know, but my schoolwork in my locker, even the girls are like, did you just fold your clothes and put them in your locker?
Yeah.
And they were like, what the heck? Because they just throw everything in.
They just smash it in
like,
there.
I can't do that. But I figured out why.
Why?
It's weird though. Her room is her cave, right? So when something is going on, and you mentioned this the other day, it's her space.
Yeah.
It's her space for her it allows her to be her. Like just, she's comfortable in her space.
Yeah.
Right?
It talks about it in Untangled.
Yep.
Like and that. Like, what are they doing inside that room?
Yes. And
same thing they would be doing outside the room.
Is so disorganized mentally, just like her mommy, right? I had to teach myself to be organized with my thoughts. I'm teaching her how to control her thoughts, right? And so she has to, in order for her to get the grades that she's getting, her backpack has to be organized. She has to know where her Post-its are. She has to know when her pens are. Yeah. And she's the one always lending pencils and pens. And that was me.
That's because she's prepared.
Yep. She is prepared 100%. And then she hates being late to class.
Which is good.
Yep. And her locker room. So I'm like, okay. I'm like, your room's a little messy, but, you know, and I see. Do you remember telling the kids this?
What's that?
When they come home and they're like, we're having them do chores and they're like throwing a fit. And we're like, what is your deal? Yeah. I've been working all day. I should be the one throwing the fit, not you. You go to school and have fun with your friends.
Yeah.
Is that the truth?
No, it's not. I mean,
we had to learn that though.
Yeah, it's true.
Right? It's just as stressful as if we were working all day. Right?
Or worse sometimes.
And working with people that you don't like.
Jerks.
Exactly. And not only that, you know how many teachers, we have one boss. If you have a job, you have one boss, a manager, supervisor. I don't even know. I haven't had a job since 2006. I've been an entrepreneur that long. That's crazy, huh?
That's awesome.
Anyways, so it's like they have to deal with all these personalities all day, every day, and having to deal with kids that are sometimes assholes on top of some teachers that may be assholes, you know, and that's why I decided every once in a while, I'm going to go and clean her room for her. Like because that's going to relieve some stress that she may be going through.
Hopefully she can keep it that way.
You know? But it's just being mindful.
Yeah. I mean, you just got to look at the big things. Like school's important and she's staying on top of it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, she's staying on top of the important stuff.
I remember my sister's boyfriend every once in a while used to pick me up from high school, and he would pick me up in his lowrider. Right?
Yeah.
It was not a Monte Carlo. It was a Rego. Okay.
A Rego?
On some 15s. Yes. Some deep 15 rims. Right.
Okay.
And he had it like a huge system in his car. So when he would pick me up, that music would be blasting. Right. And so, no, babe, not that.
That's not it.
No,
that's not it.
You need to put some Too Short on or something like that. But dude, like it would make me feel good. Like, yep, you know? And so I pick up Audrey most of the time from school. And I know what kind of music Audrey and her friends listen to. So before I pick her up, and I'll take my dog Jane because I don't know what kind of day she's going to have, right? I don't know how much stress is on. Like, so I'm thinking, is she had a stressful day today? Mommy's going to lift her spirits. So I bring Jane with me because Jane gets all the kids, right?
Our dog Jane.
Yep, our dog Jane. And also Audrey loves her. And I'm like, I'm going to go and I'm going to be that hip mom who comes in, you know, blasting some 2000 R&B because that's what they love, or 2000 like
that's
hip
what you
hop,
love.
Right? Baby, my girl does too. And I'm going to put you on blast right now. So anyways, so I go in and she sees me and she's like bumping her shoulders and opens the door and turns around like, is anybody watching? Is anybody looking? Kind of deal, right? And she gets in the car and we're just jamming. And then after a while, like, you know, once we pass the school, she'll start talking to me about her day. So Miguel picked her up yesterday.
I do the same shit.
And I decided to give Miguel a little tip. Okay. But remember, Miguel's that introvert, that individual that has to look everything up. Right. And so
whatever.
I told him, take Jane with you and blast some music.
Yep.
Right. And he did. But what did you do before you chose the song? What did you do?
I looked it up.
What did you look up, baby?
The top songs in the country. And you know what? I know that there's songs that she listens to. And that song that I picked was one that she listens to. And it's one of the biggest songs in the country.
But it's played out.
Whatever.
So anyways, I felt it's funny. It's funny. It was just funny because you're so cute. Like you look up the top whatever around the country before, you know, you go.
Whatever.
And then he's blasting it and he goes and picks up Audrey and Audrey gets in the car and lowers it.
She's like, oh shit. She's like, let's go fucking drive. She pulls her hood down. She's like, drive, Dad.
But it was so funny to me, you know, but it's shit. Like, hey, you know, it's just, her and I always dance together and we always play music together. So I know, and she's talked to me and she's told me the type of music that they listen to, that they play at the dance and what the kids like. So I already knew. And I should have told
play that
you.
Music. I can guarantee you they played that song at the dance.
I don't, okay? But it's okay.
Yeah,
listen, it's okay, baby. Okay, you fucked up. It's okay.
No, I didn't fuck up.
She didn't like it.
No, but what the fuck? How am I supposed to know that this one song she doesn't like? It's the number one fucking song in the country that every fucking teenage girl likes. So, I bet you our neighbor friend likes it.
Hey, it's okay, okay? It's okay, okay?
Whatever.
Don't be throwing fire at me.
No, it is what it is.
Fire. Don't be throwing fire at me. It was just funny.
She fucking turns it down and she's like, go, Dad, go. And I'm fucking sitting there like.
What happened? It was cute because I come home and Miguel's like, I did what you told me.
It didn't fucking work. I think she hates me now.
Oh my God. It was so cute.
No, she was fine. I mean, she was like, she did turn it down and we drove, but it was fun.
Yeah.
It's all right. Fun.
Anyways.
Hey, so hold up, let me see. The other day, or I don't know if it was the other day, but a little while ago, you were telling me something about Audrey. I mean, we were talking about sports and stuff, but you were telling me something about Audrey, and there was like a girl that told her to do something, or something happened.
Mm-hmm.
But there was something about Audrey that she was just kind of like, nah, not doing that, or it's not gonna happen, or whatever. Mm-hmm. It was like with one of the popular kids or whatever. And I was asking you, like, where, like, how come or why? And I was saying, like, I think it's because of the confidence that she has from jiu-jitsu. Like when some girls like hey, why don't you do this or do like, like they're coming at her.
Exactly. Yep.
Like what was that? What was going on?
It was something in class. Like she asked Audrey to do something. Like she demanded.
Who was this girl? What was?
I don't know. Some popular girl in the class was telling her to do something, not asking her, telling her to do it.
Yeah.
And Audrey's like, no, like no, it's okay.
Yeah.
Kind of deal.
Did you talk to her about that?
And I did. And I asked her. I looked at her and I smiled and I said, do you feel that you have the confidence to do what you did because of jiu-jitsu? And she smiled back and she said yes.
Yeah.
And that's just great because there's so many kids today that are getting bullied, and if you are going through this, because I know there's a lot of people out there that are going through this with their children. And I can't imagine being that parent, where my child is getting bullied. I would want to go beat the kid up. It's, myself, but that's something we learned in Untangled. You can't call the parent.
And also from our attorneys.
And from, yeah.
That if you're a parent, you can't go beating up other people's kids.
Right. But I can't imagine because listen, it's serious shit. Whether it's cyberbullying or if it's bullying in person, it's just serious shit. And when it's cyberbullying, it's constant. And it's like not only are you going through it, not only are you seeing it, but everybody is seeing the bullying. The comments are going on and on and on. And mentally, that can break them. I'm telling you, mentally, if you see that your kid is coming home upset or sad, you need to talk to them and you need to get them to trust you enough to open up to you. Because I know personally, I know at least 3 kids that have committed suicide because of cyberbullying or bullying in person.
Yeah. And with like there's different sides to it. I mean, and we're doing, not to pat ourselves on the back, but we're doing pretty good with most of them, with all of them, really, because the bullying, the in-person bullying aspect of it, like we already talked about. When somebody tells her to do something that she doesn't want to do or whatever, she's going to be like, yeah, no, not doing it.
Right.
And if you want to try, you can try something, but it might end up bad for you. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
And that's kind of like the confidence that you have. It's kind of like when you have an attorney.
No, for sure. Yeah.
You don't have to get crazy. People that have an attorney don't fucking scream. No. I'm going to call my attorney. Motherfucker, you ain't got no attorney.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. You silently be like, okay, is this how you want to handle it?
Okay. No problem.
Right.
You'll hear from me.
Yep.
And then they're like, oh shit. Well, what do you mean?
Right.
And the other thing is the social media, the cyberbullying.
Yes.
We have that side covered. Also with, the pinwheel phone and her not having access to social media.
But also
not having the accounts.
But also talking to her.
Also talking to her.
Yes. Educating her on why we don't allow her to have social media. Because at first it was a big thing. And do you know, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but I just remembered something.
What?
She told me that she understands now
why really?
She doesn't have, she is okay. When was the last time she asked me for a TikTok? I can't tell you. Snapchat? I can't tell you. Because she sees it happening with her fellow friends.
Yeah.
Her classmates. She sees it. She understands it. And she even told, I can't remember who it was, but she told it was somebody's parents. No, my parents protect me from that. I don't have social media.
Shit.
Yes.
My parents protect me from that.
Yeah.
Oh man.
And once she's mentally mature enough, right? When she's mentally mature enough, I mean, some of us are adults aren't even mentally mature enough to take that on.
She might be like, you guys can keep the social media. I'm good.
My
friends can text me.
At first, it was a fight, but we did not give up. And most parents start, the kid breaks them down, right? The kid breaks them down. Like, I feel left out. I feel not included because I was feeling that pressure. Oh, my God.
Oh, no, I think that's a valid pressure. I mean, I think.
Well, yeah. It's like, why am I not getting invited to the parties or why am I not invited to, and it's because maybe there's a group chat somewhere.
Yeah,
and she's not included in that. But there's ways around it, right?
Yeah, I mean, as far as the pressure goes, like, yeah, there was pressure, but I don't care. Like, we're going to do the research and find out what the best thing for our family is.
Yeah.
And it's not that.
Yes.
It's not that.
Yes. But it's just being aware and understanding, your children's, like, their moods. And not only that, because even when you see the change within them, if you haven't worked on your parenting skills and you ask them what's going on, they may not open up to you because they feel that you may get mad at them.
Yeah.
So it's all about it's almost building like that trust.
They can't trust how you're going to react.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And having that conversation with your kids, but you just can't have a conversation. It's like you have to act on what it is that you're saying. If they make a mistake and they come to you and all of a sudden you blow up, you're showing them that what you're saying is a lie. You are not telling them.
And they're not going to want to come to you with any more mistakes.
Right.
They'll hide them.
Right. And it's so I had mentioned this, I think, on one of the podcasts, like you and I had talked to the kids and told them, listen, I want you to know that no matter what mistakes you make, no matter how big of the mistake you make, we love you unconditionally. And we promise that we won't get angry. Like, yes, we will, be disappointed. And yes, there's going to be consequences for your actions, but we will never be so, angry at you.
Yeah. We'll figure out. We might be disappointed, but we'll figure out what to do to fix it.
And if you're wondering how to build that relationship with your children, share your mistakes. Yeah. It's sharing your mistakes with them, letting them know that you were a kid once. Because when they look at us, they don't look at us, you're human. They look at you as a parent, an authority figure.
I told Joey recently, like, he was talking, he just yesterday, he was getting angry, like he does, like we do. And like I told him, and I told you, I told you that when I was a little kid, I had this freaking temper that I remember one time specifically, like, my dad always told me, like, he used to teach me how to fight when I was a little kid, like for real fighting,
Yes.
Not like the karate studio stuff. And there was one time, like, one thing that he always told me was, like, you don't hit women and you don't hit anybody that's smaller than you. Like, somebody that I know that I can beat the shit out of.
Right.
You don't do that, because it's not honorable or whatever. I don't know. But, we went to a place and some kid just kept messing with me and picking on me. And I kept doing what my dad always told me, like telling him to stop. But I didn't fucking smack him because he was smaller than me.
Right.
And my dad told me that he came over to me and that I told my dad, I was like, he's little. He doesn't know what he's doing. But he was fucking driving me crazy.
Right.
And my dad could see it.
Yes.
And he took me into one of the bedrooms of the house that we were at. And there was this giant teddy bear. And he was like, just fucking go nuts. And I started crying. Like, I fucking wanted to rip that bear to pieces. And I told Joey yesterday, like, that when I was a little kid, I would have this temper that sometimes, like, I would play video games and I would get super angry. And I would start smashing the controller into the TV. And, like, I would think, and I told you that, it's like, is there something fucking wrong with me? Like, that I get this angry?
Right.
Like, I don't know if this is normal. But then, I don't know. I was left alone, and eventually I worked it out,
by yourself,
obviously,
right?
On my own.
Yes.
But I was like, yeah, I guess that shit fucking happens, and you can figure it out. Like, you can work it out, and you can get through it. And I was telling Joey, I was like, look, I used to be super angry when I was a little kid sometimes. I was like, and I did think sometimes that maybe something's wrong with me. I was like, there's nothing wrong. I was like, it's just something that you got to fix, something that we got to work on.
Right.
It's no big deal.
And we told him, like, it's great. It's like, this is something that we can figure out together.
Yeah.
You're not alone, and you're not the only one. Like, he's, and that's the conversation that you have to have with your kids, especially like your preteens, whether, especially girls. Like, girls go through so much more, I feel, than boys when it comes to their emotions because of puberty and just all the craziness that we go through, right?
Yeah.
And just letting your kids know that, what you're going through is normal. It's just, it's part of your development, And before I used to say, you tell her that it's part of puberty, but it has nothing to do with her going through puberty. It's the brain development. The brain is developing so fast.
Yeah, I think that was in the book Untangled.
Yes,
That it's two different things that are happening at the same time.
Yes.
And they say it's the hormones. It's not the hormones.
Right.
It's the brain development.
Yes. But when you also, the hormones brings on the emotions and all of it. So imagine they're going through all of this at once. Yeah. And so they're having these crazy thoughts. And they feel that they are in it alone. And so I told Audrey
or that they're the first one to ever go through it.
I was talking to her about it, and I said, listen, baby, I know there's times where you feel like you're drowning. I'm like, because I used to feel like that. And she looks at me and she's like, where did you learn that from? Because she was feeling it. Yeah. She felt like she was drowning at that time when I mentioned it.
Yeah.
And I told her, I'm like, you're not the only one. But when you let them know that they're not going crazy, that they are not alone, you know, and that you let them know that they have support, man, that takes off so much pressure and stress and depression and anxiety, just being there and letting them know that I've gone through this too.
Yeah.
You know? And yeah, it's just, it's ongoing. I mean, she's only 12, but I feel that you and I are preparing ourselves for the future years by reading that book, Entangled. And I hope, you know, that we can get that author on this book, or the author of the book on the podcast, because I think that would be absolutely amazing. So I'm throwing it out there in the universe right now.
Yep. And if you guys would like to buy the book, you guys can go to our website, oppositesattractpodcast.com, and you guys can buy it through our Amazon link on the Support the Show tab. But while you're on our website, you guys can watch the podcast there. You can listen to it there. You can follow our social media, which if you guys don't know, we started TikToking.
That's right.
Right? A little bit here and there. You guys can follow us at Opposite Pod on all of our social media, on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, everything. Just search Opposite Pod or just search Opposites Attract Podcast and we'll pop up. But yeah, so when you go to the Support the Show tab on oppositesattractpodcast.com, you'll see our Amazon link, and anything that you purchase through that link doesn't cost you anything extra, but it helps out the show. The holidays are here, so if you guys are doing Christmas shopping on Amazon, we would definitely appreciate if you guys click on that link, it also helps out the show. And also, when you click on that Support the Show tab on our website, you'll see a link to Trust Inc. And Trust Inc. is?
We are a nationwide mobile notary agency and signing agency. So if you are in the process of purchasing, selling, or refinancing your home, you can request Trust Inc. to be your signing agency.
Yep, and you can go to Trust Inc. directly by going to trustinkusa.com. We're also affiliates with Pinwheel, which is a smartphone for kids, which is the best smartphone for kids. It doesn't have access to social media, doesn't have access to the internet. It has a store of apps that are picked by therapists, by people that are like, their focus is making this phone a tool for kids to make them more productive, something that's going to help them out, something that's going to teach them things. There's music apps on there. There's language apps. There's banking apps, things that are going to teach them stuff, not stuff that sucks their attention and gets them glued to the phone, because that's the way these social media companies work. That's the way all these media companies work. I mean,
our listeners know that, because
the biggest
it
word
sucks their energy, and
the biggest word on the internet today is the algorithm.
Yes,
and all that that means is they're trying to figure out every possible way to keep your eyes on that phone for as long as possible, every second of the day if they can. What was it that we were listening to something that they said, Netflix said their biggest competition was, do you remember? Sleep.
Oh,
sleep
yes,
was Netflix's biggest competition.
Yep.
I'm telling you, they are geniuses and they have this stuff down.
Yes.
So if you're giving your phone a full-blown smartphone to a kid, we feel that's a mistake.
Yes.
And Pinwheel has came up with a solution for that, where you can give them a phone that is appropriate for their age. Whether you start them young, they can have kid-appropriate apps, and you can remove those apps as they get older and replace them with apps that are better for their age. And they can have that all the way up until they're ready for a full-blown smartphone.
That's awesome.
If you guys want 10% off of a Pinwheel phone, you guys can use promo code OAP10, all in caps. That's OAP10. at pinwheel.com, and that'll give you 10% off of a Pinwheel phone.
There you go.
And if you guys would like to buy us a coffee, you guys can go to buymeacoffee.com.
See, I'm drinking water because nobody bought me a coffee.
/opposite pod. buymeacoffee.com/opposite pod. And you guys can buy us a coffee. Yeah, we're drinking beer and water today.
I'm being good.
A beer at a bar is almost like a freaking Starbucks coffee nowadays.
No, for sure.
Right?
Yes.
But yeah, you guys can do it there. And huge shout out to Bill Soroka from Side Hustle Lounge podcast and Sign and Thrive Notary Coach, who
for buying us a few coffees.
Yeah, he bought us a bunch of coffees. So thank you.
So you have, you mentioned the holidays, and there's something that I want to talk about because there was something that hit me out of nowhere. But I realized that the holidays are difficult. Like when you lose someone that you love. I lost my sister in 2007. She was only 34 years old. Very unexpected. And my aunt had posted some pictures of her, of all of us. And, you know, I started to get into this just not dark place, but I was very sad.
Yeah.
Like I was missing her and I was getting down. And then I realized there are so many people that are probably feeling the way I'm feeling. And normally if God places something on my heart, I go and I speak it. And I did a Facebook Live on it, and so many people opened up about feeling the same way and how they hate the holidays. I love the holidays.
Yeah.
Right? But this one thing really just kind of got to me. And when we go to our niece's house, who's her daughter, there's times where I'll be sitting back and I'm like, why am I here and she's not? Kind of deal, you know, going to remember when they were with us, it was so hard for me to go to their games or band practices or concerts because I always thought about that. Like, oh my God, my sister would love to be here. And I was always in tears, like all the time.
Yeah.
And I've gotten better, but missing her obviously never goes away. And so I was thinking, you know, it's when you think about the loss, it hurts.
Yeah.
What I did that day, I knew I had to lift my spirits because there were things that we needed to take care of. And I knew that I needed to release this emptiness that I was feeling. Because if not, it was going to continue with me today, tomorrow, and who knows how long until
you took
I
care
let
of
it go.
Yeah.
So I started to think about her and memories, like happy memories that we had together, her and I. You know, when I was young, I remember, you know, there was a picture day was up and there were these she had a yellow beaded necklace and I always liked it. And I asked her if I could wear it. And I remember she looked at me and she's like, like she was like, but then she's like, sure. You know what? She's like, okay. She's like, as long as you take care of them, you know, and she used to make donuts, you know, for us. And so I started thinking of all the happy memories that I had with her. And then I started to feel so blessed that I had 34 years with her.
Yeah. Yeah, that's...
So if that is you, maybe this will help you. Maybe just, you know, thinking and talking about all the good times, all the fun times that you had with that individual, and just thinking that whatever amount of time you had with them was a blessing. And focus on that, and that will help you to get over those holiday blues, and will help you to show up, you know, and be the light, just in case somebody else in the room is having those same holiday blues.
Yeah.
You know, so I just thought that I would share that with everybody because it sounds like there's a lot of people out there who are going through this. And especially the past 2 years with COVID, there were so many loved ones lost last year during this time, during the holiday season. And so, you know, just I hope you all, can take this in and try it. And if it works for you, teach it to somebody else who lost a loved one.
Yeah. No, that's an awesome tip. Yeah. Because like you said, there's a lot of people that, you look at this and a lot of times you don't look at it that way. It's just the lights and everybody's happy and excited, but there are a lot of people that struggle through these times a year.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
No, it's really good. The other day we were in the kitchen. It was one of those days that, we were just so busy. And by the end of the day, like we were worn out. We were worn out. And the kids were going 100 miles an hour.
Oh my God.
They were going.
Can I have this? Can we do this?
Oh my God.
It was just like nonstop.
And in that moment,
it was funny
I was just
as
like,
shit.
I'm like, the kids are energy stealers.
And I just started laughing so hard. And I needed that. We needed that.
Yeah. I'm like, they're fucking energy stealers, man.
I'm like, you are right. They are damn energy stealers for sure.
It's like, dude, we're like slumped. We're like slumped over. We're trying to wrap the day up and they are bouncing off the walls.
I'm like,
we're like, dude, where do they get all this fucking energy from?
Can I have some of that?
It's like when they wake up, it's like they take a little bit of your energy just throughout the day. By the end of the day, they got all the energy and you have none.
Right.
You have none. It's fucking over.
No, for sure. That was freaking hilarious. Yeah.
But yeah, we also we have our spare bedroom that we're setting up. We're buying some stuff for the bed, and I was explaining to Joey like the different sizes of the beds.
Yes.
And he was like, all right, so like, what do I have? And I was like, well, you have a twin. He's like, okay, well, what about your guys' bed? And so I was just like, all right, well, there's a twin, there's a full, which we have in the other room. There's a king, and then there's a queen, which we don't have. I was like, we used to have a queen. There's a queen that's also a size. And he's like, the queen, he's like, which one is bigger? And I was like, well, the king is bigger than the queen. And he's like,
makes
why?
Sense. Oh, he said that?
He's like, they're both just as important.
Oh,
that's what he said.
My baby. He's
or
so
he said
cute.
Something like that. He was like he was confused. Like, why would the king be bigger than the queen?
Oh, that's so cute.
And I was like, true, very true.
You should question, well, why do you say that?
And I did. I asked him, and that's why he said that. I was like, why? Like, why are you having trouble with this? And he's like, well, because they're both just as important.
That's so cute.
And but I did tell him, I was like, that's good. I was like, and you're right, Joe. They are both very, very important. I was like, but I was like, in reality, I was like, men, the kings, are usually bigger. Right? If you look at men and women, men are usually bigger, taller, stronger, whatever.
I don't know if maybe you should say that on this podcast today.
I don't give a shit. No, it is what it is. And I'm like, so maybe that's why. I was like, but as far as importance, you're right. Yeah, they are both just as important. It was just funny though.
Yeah, that's cute. So I wanted to talk to you about last week. Because you had left out of town last week.
Yeah.
And I remembered when you first started traveling for work and how I would feel.
Yeah.
So here comes your marriage tip. No. And when you first started to travel, because there were unresolved issues from my past, I have daddy issues. I had daddy issues. I have broken free from those daddy issues. Amen. Hallelujah. Bless me. No. And this is how you know when you've had a breakthrough with past trauma. Okay? And if we have enough time, I can share how I broke free from that past trauma. Let's talk about it. Okay. So, growing up, my mom and dad were married for 17 years and got a divorce. And, there were times where, I remember waiting up for my dad and him not showing up. Like when they divorced, it's almost like he divorced us. Okay. And there's a reason why he did what he did, but I don't want to share that because it's too, I don't know. It's too personal. I don't want to put any, Okay. Anyways. And, but I had to take time and I had to self-reflect. We talk about that, right? Like being mindful. And so I couldn't remember my past. And so I started to reflect and give myself quiet time. It was me and God. I would have a conversation with God and then just silence. And I put a picture up of myself and started talking to my younger self.
Of yourself as a kid.
As a kid during that time when my mom and dad were together, and letting her know that whatever happened wasn't, her fault, and that she's loved and that she matters. And, just started going back, and slowly but surely I started to regain my memory from my childhood. But before that, there were a lot of unresolved issues that I had. I felt insecure. I felt lack of confidence. It was hard for me to fall in love with a man. Miguel is the first man that I ever allowed myself to fall in love with. I had this huge wall up. I did not trust men. I felt that, that there was a lot of, and it was because there was a lot of betrayal in my childhood with men, and, just on and on and on. So when when Miguel and I came together, of course, I bring all that trauma into the relationship, not knowing, not being aware, because that my time wasn't my time yet to resolve those my past traumas, right?
It's a lot of stuff that you got to work out.
Right.
I mean, because all the stuff that you had to deal with growing up, and I bring all my own fucking baggage and all my own issues
to the same relationship.
And then we have issues because of the issues that we have.
Right.
Yeah.
And
it's a lot to work out.
So anyways, Miguel and I we were having a conversation, like when he would go to work, leave out of town, I would feel sick to my stomach. I would feel sick to my stomach because not only that, but I have friends that are not loyal, and there's seeds planted. And so I'm thinking you're doing the same thing. And so when he would call me, I'd be like, and I would do it in a way to where I felt like he wasn't aware of what I was doing. But I was like, hey, why don't we video chat? Because I wanted to know who was in his room. And I don't know if I would call you often. I would wait for you to call, and then I'd be like, hey, why are you barely calling me, kind of deal.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But it was just I was so sick. Like I was not comfortable. It felt horrible. And I started to ask God, like, why am I feeling like this? I'm not a jealous woman. Like I never felt like I was a jealous woman. Like even with you being at home, because you were such a good man, like you never given me those feelings before. Yeah,
it has to do with like the security that you have in yourself. Because even when I do travel out of town, I mean, when I first started traveling, I would travel with the guys that we were going to go fix stuff with.
Yeah.
And there were a couple, like after work, we're out of town.
Yeah.
And what do you do when you're after work with your friends out of town?
You go to bars.
You go to the bars and you have some drinks and you hang out, but that's where, like, I mean, I'm hundreds or thousands of miles away. And that's where the security in yourself comes in, because it's like, well, what is he doing? And in reality, like, I'm having a blast with the boys. Like, we're hanging out,
right. Right. So, me feeling this way, I did not like it. And I knew that, like, I've never called, like, you would have never known my insecurities until you started leaving out of town. Did I ever make you feel like you had to check in? Did I ever make you feel?
No, and you know what? Even when I did go out of town, like I didn't know the video chat thing.
What was happening?
Thought it was just video chat.
Yeah.
Like, and to me, it's like, all right, she wants to video chat.
Because like, you like to though. You like to see us and stuff.
Well, especially when I'm out of town and I can't see you face to face.
Right.
I'd rather video chat with you so that I can see you and the kids.
So, I mean, but I've never been a jealous type. Because, well, the men before you, I wasn't in love with them. So it's like, if they did anything, like you're gone. It's not a thing, but I'm married to you and I have 2 kids with you, You know, and for me, that is something beyond being loyal. For me to marry you because of everything, you know, anyways. So I started to recognize this feeling and I did not like it. And so I remember you came home and we were talking about what I was feeling, and you got upset.
We weren't talking. We weren't talking. I think we almost got into an argument.
Yeah, we were.
It was getting into an argument.
It was, it was not. You could feel my energy. I mean, it wasn't a hey baby, blah 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 blah. It was like,
it's like what I was talking about earlier.
But I started off that way. I remember telling you, like, I need you to know that when you leave out of town, this is what I'm feeling. And
that's right.
And I started sharing. I wasn't yelling at you.
No,
we were talking about it. You
Yep.
started getting hypersensitive because you're like, what are you talking about? All I do, and you have a very strong voice. All I do is, you know, go to work. Everything I do is for you and for the kids. You know that all I ever wanted was a family. So why are you feeling this way? And now all of a sudden, I am feeling like something's wrong with me. Well, I'm just, hold on.
Yeah.
I'm telling you what I'm thinking, what I'm feeling. Okay. So now it's like, you're right. Like, you are right. That is you. And at that time, while him and I are discussing this, you and I looked at each other.
No. And not only that, but I told you that when I was when I'm on the trips, like a lot of times during the trips, I'm telling you, like, yeah, this is cool. It's cool getting to go see places and go out to dinner places and have a couple drinks. I was like, but more than anything, I want to be home with my family. Like, I'm not one of the, like, there's some people, like, that's their thing. They love it. They could travel for their work nonstop. That's not me. You know, I like being home with my family. That, like, if you ask me, where would you rather be? It's always home with my family.
Right.
You know what I mean? So that's why that's why I was frustrated. It's like, you're giving me a hard time about taking these or going on these trips when I would rather be home. Do you know what I mean?
And do you remember what happened?
Right at that moment.
So because I've been working on me, other areas of me, this was something new that came up when he started traveling. Yeah. Because even though you're working on you and you're resolving one issue, there's going to be another issue that comes up. And that's when being mindful to ask, okay, why am I feeling this way? And not keep it in, but communicate it with the person that you're feeling it with. Because I think that's where it will be resolved, but communicating in a loving, respecting manner. Like, I wasn't coming at you. I wasn't yelling at you. I was telling you what I was feeling while you were gone.
Yeah.
And so anyways, at that time, immediately, whatever you believe in, okay, I believe in God. My inner God is like, this is one of your triggers. You got daddy issues, remember?
Yeah.
This is stemming from that past trauma. This is something that needs to be resolved and healed. He is not your dad. He is not any man that's ever been in your life. This is your husband who truly loves you.
Yeah. And
when that happened, I told you. And what did you tell me?
That's what I told you isn't that what I said? That this is where I want to be. Like,
yeah, you said as a kid.
Yeah, this is what I wanted.
All I ever wanted was a family. Because you never had that family.
Well, that's why I was getting so upset.
So his
because
trigger,
you were getting upset about me leaving out of town when I didn't even want to go out of town.
Right.
And all I wanted was to be home with my family.
And your what do you want to call it? Your stress, whatever, your anger was stemming from your past.
Yeah.
Because as a child, that's what you wanted.
Yeah. Yep.
And now you have it. And now the woman that you're with is telling you.
Yeah.
Do you understand?
Yep.
So it was so crazy because at that moment when we realized each other's triggers, that's when
I think
we
we
knew.
almost even started laughing.
We did.
In that moment.
We did.
We started laughing in that moment. We're like, oh, shit.
Yes.
We just figured it out.
Because I was so relieved. I was so like, okay, now we know what it is that we need to work on. And I started working on me, and I started calling my dad more. I started talking to my dad. I started finding out about, you know, his childhood. I started working on my relationship with my dad. I forgave my dad wholeheartedly because I know that there's some things that he went through as a child, and he only did what he knew. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's just so much. And once I forgave my dad, and I knew 100% that I forgave him.
Yeah.
Because the love that I have for him, when I talk to him, it's joy. It's, you know, seeing him. I'm happy to see him. And people are like, how can you forgive that way? It's because I'm able to see people's childlike hearts, right? Like, we all have trauma.
Yeah.
We all have trauma. And you know, there's things that we only do what we're taught. And if you're not aware of all the crap that your past,
or aware that there's another way.
Right. And so I can forgive because of that.
Yeah.
Like 100% let go. And once I was able to let go and release and forgive and to love my dad, this time when you were gone, I felt amazing. And even the time before, right?
You were just talking about like you need to leave again. Like, I'm having fun when you're gone.
Well, and I love it because I enjoy it.
No, but you were saying that you get a chance to miss me.
It gives me time to miss you, right? It gives me time to miss you. It gives me time to have that one-on-one with my children, like our children.
Yeah.
You know, just being there to conversate with them, to hang out with them. And it gives me, oh my God, my house is spotless right now because
you went freaking nuts.
Dude, I did spring cleaning in the winter, right? Yeah. But I felt I just felt so refreshed. Mm-hmm. And it's been twice since you've left, I think, or more times. I think it was the first or second time where I was feeling that way. And then I started working on myself. And then thereafter, it's like when we video chat, you know, and there's times where I'm just busy, like the kids, because you're not here. So I am doing
plans.
Everything. And I'm sorry. I know, like, you called me on this last trip, and I was just so busy that I didn't talk to you. And I know you got a little butthurt because you're like,
I'm out. I'm going to go work out or something.
You know, and that's just me not being, I was just caught up in the stress of everything that was happening. You know, and so, but when I talked to you, I realized that something was off with you. And that's when you shared with me. And that's the thing. See, I speak my truth, and Miguel has also learned to speak his as well. Like, you are more vulnerable today than you've been ever. Ever. You know, so once we started talking about it, and, you know, I realized, because I know when you're off. You know, and I didn't mean, you know, it's just, but I mean, I think we only spoke that day, maybe once or twice, you know, but before I'd be like, what the hell is he doing? And this time I was just doing me. Like, I was here.
You got your own shit going on.
You know, and just enjoying the time. But that's when you know that whatever trauma, whatever triggers you have, when you're released, and you feel all that weight just come off your shoulders. Yeah. And it's such a beautiful feeling of just peace and joy and love, you know, because I was missing you, you know, and just feeling that you know, feeling sick to my stomach, all of that was released. Like, I have not felt that for quite some time now.
That's good. Well, you were saying earlier that when we were having that situation, when we were kind of talking and figuring out that this is where these problems stem, like, we were communicating, we were talking about what was happening. And this is something that is not so easy for a lot of people to bring up, to talk about, right? And if you're a couple that hasn't been communicating like that, then you have to start with something that may be a little bit easier to talk about. And then you work your way into talking about more serious things. And hopefully the hope is that you end up talking about everything.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
So I think for next week, what I'll do is I'll look up some stuff on, you know, if you don't have the best communication, how to start making that communication better.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
So make sure you guys don't miss the next episode for next week. That's called a teaser for those of you in the industry.
I want to get teased.
We'll do that later.
And with that,
make sure you guys go to oppositesattractpodcast.com. Share it with the people that you know. If you guys are going to purchase anything on Amazon, we would appreciate it if you do it through our link. It'll help us out. You guys can follow us on at Opposite Pod on all of our social media, on YouTube, Facebook, TikTok.
Yes,
everywhere.
Yes. Hey, and if you guys have any suggestions for TikToks, we'd be open.
Anything that you guys would like us to talk about, you guys can send us a message also at 480-912-5128. We'll play it on the show. We'll answer your questions, and we'll have some fun.
All right. And with that, we love you guys. Thank you for all your love and your support, and thank you for watching Opposites Attract Podcast,
where we get better
together.
Bye.